and welcome to this first video in my overview of the Citizen Tsuki-yomi A-T watch. This is model BY1018-55X. As you can see, it is the red moon dial version of the watch. It also comes in a gray and blue version of the dial. I just personally preferred the red, but they all look really cool. Another key difference in the appearance of the watch is that this definitely has a darker bezel than the gray and blue. Depending on how you look at it, it can appear almost black, but under other light it looks, much lighter and almost can match the rest of the bracelet. But definitely darker than the bezel on the gray and blue. So in addition to, of course, arguably the main selling point in terms of the moon dial, there is the moon phase indicator and the subdial at the bottom. Not much of the moon is visible on that right now because we're not particularly close to a full moon, but that's a cool feature that you'll find on a few different watches, but none of those have the whole dial showing a moon design like this one does. This watch does receive a radio time signal, so it can stay in time for you. And of course, like most Citizen watches, it is equipped with Eco Drive. So as long as you give it some light now and then, it will not need a battery change for quite some time, if ever, during your use of this watch. So I wanted to go through a few of the features in these videos, and I wanted to start out by mentioning that this has movement H874, so anything with that same movement would have the same manual and utilize the same instructions as far as setting things on the watch. In terms of the structure of the watch, it does have super titanium, and you will notice immediately if you try this watch on that it is much lighter than a comparably sized stainless steel bracelet. It has a stamped clasp, and the case back is the same color as the rest of the bracelet. There's nothing particularly important to note there. I guess the fact that it does list the different time zones and their relation to GMT. So that can help you when you're actually setting the time zone if you don't know those off the top of your head, like the relationship to Greenwich Mean Time. Some other features of the dial of this watch, you do see a subdial on the left side at the 9 o'clock position, showing 24-hour time, basically just to show you whether it's AM or PM. The subdial at the top, when you're in standard timekeeping, will indicate the day of the week, right now pointing toward Tuesday. And then, of course, there's a little date window. If you hit what they refer to in the manual as the A button, then a couple things happen. One is it gives a power indication in the top subdial, and you can see that we are at full power, so that's good. It automatically resets to standard timekeeping within a few seconds. So we'll need to hit A again, and you can see that the second hand is pointing toward OK at the bottom. It could point toward RX or no. What the OK means is that last time it tried to receive a radio time signal, it was successful. If it said no, then we could manually try to get it to receive again by holding in A for a couple seconds until the second hand pointed to RX. And then if you leave it sitting by a window, ideally a window that's facing the direction that's closest to where that signal is being received from, that can kind of help with things. But ultimately, if you're patient and try a couple times, it'll eventually get it. Usually it has most success at night. That's when it'll usually try, and that's when it will usually receive the signal in the middle of the night. So you don't really have to worry about it during the day. Usually it will have already taken care of it in the middle of the night. But again, if it failed last time and if the time is currently wrong, you can hit A to view whether it was successful or not. And if it says no, then hold in A for a couple seconds and it will try again. When it's done trying either successfully or unsuccessfully, it will eventually reset to standard timekeeping mode. So that's just a couple of the basic features of this watch. In the next video, I'll show you how to change the time zone and also how to change the daylight savings setup on the watch. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again shortly.